Sexual assault has become a hot-button issue on college campuses as universities struggle to comply with a federal government requirement known as Title IX. Clemson University in South Carolina recently suspended an online course for students after complaints about some of the questions. One of those questions asked how many times and with how many partners a student had engaged in sex with. The university says all of the information provided by the training was kept confidential and believes the training would help students make better decisions. But do they need to know about all the private interactions students are having? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you. You can weigh in on our Fox 26 Facebook page or on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. In our newsroom, Fox 26 legal analyst Chris Tritico again, our news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. All right, Chris, as our legal expert, we'll start with you. Was this perfectly legal, what Clemson was trying to do?
I don't think so. Now, let's just back up a little bit. About a year and a half ago, the Obama administration changed the rules on how the regulations on how universities investigate sexual assault issues, and they beefed up Title IX and ordered universities to take a more aggressive role, which is why Clemson ended up in the position they're in. Clemson's problem is they created this, what they call training, and ordered mandatory every student, faculty member, and staff member at the university to answer these questions, sign on to a third-party web page with their student ID number, and then claiming not only is this anonymous, which it can't be if you're using your student ID, it's secure. Well, Target and Home Depot can't keep their servers secure, and so I don't think this was lawful at all, and I don't think that you have the authority to kick a student out of school who says, I'm not telling you how many people I've had sex with, Jackie Bally. I think that it's laudable that they want to do something to ensure safety of young people on their campuses. This is a little bit aggressive.
Every time I hear stories like this, I'm like, where's the common sense in some of these decisions? You know, studies have shown that on campuses where there's a lot of alcohol, there's a correlation between that and a lot of sex. And hence why maybe some of these surveys are leaning the way they are in some of the questions. However, these questions are a little bit too, as you said, too aggressive in going into their personal lives. And it's infringing on their personal behavior in a way that we don't really need to know about their personal habits. And I think it's a little bit too big brother, to be honest with you. And so I applaud the students for standing up and saying, look, enough is enough. If you want us to take this survey, then you need to detach our IDs, for starters, with our response from our responses.
Make it voluntary. I mean, you can't force a student at a state-run university to answer these private questions and kick them out if they don't. I would take that suit.
Yeah, this was such a bad policy that NFL actually called them. They want a copy of the survey so they can implement it within the players. Look, sexual assaults are an epidemic on college campuses. Things have to be done. University of Texas has done a great program, and they've been talked about around the country for it. What these guys are doing is going, way over. Rather than trying to prevent and train people, they're trying to collect data. Because there's one thing about training, giving people information, mandatory training is a good idea, but trying to get information from that person is absolutely in the wrong
Training
direction.
doesn't require me to tell you how many people I've had sex with.
Absolutely. Now, at NFL, that might help.
Well, we don't have time to answer all those questions. We're going to go with Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
I can't find anyone who is in support of this program, guys, but let's take a look at a couple of the tweets that are out there. EJ saying, why is Clemson asking students about their sex lives? Spoiler, not really for any good reason. And then Bill says, OMG, the survey was mandatory. And it appears it was, although they have suspended it now again.
Well, and it was because of the uproar about it being mandatory that caused them to suspend it. Not only was it mandatory for the students, the faculty and staff had to answer it, and they were subject to termination from the university. Can you imagine a tenured professor who says, I'm not answering that question, okay, you're fired?
I can't imagine an adjunct like I was for 10 years at U of H and saying if they handed me the survey, I wouldn't answer it.
No.
The sad thing is, on the campuses where these surveys are done correctly, they've shown that a short-term effect has been positive on the students because they think about their actions and they reduce their alcohol intake, and they have more safe behaviors. But this is a clear example of taking a policy,
A good policy.
and just making it into a travesty. And I'm glad that the students have decided to just boycott the whole thing.
There's a way for Clemson and other universities to take information like this and make a positive gain with it on the university.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think the positive side would be training and public discussion, not collecting information about people's sleeping habits. I mean, that just makes no sense to me, and I don't think on a college campus, for God's sakes, really.
All right, I think we're going to leave it right there. Nobody's opposed to doing something, Sally, that would protect students on campus and the faculty and staff. But there has to be a way to do it that you're not invading in the private lives of people and making it mandatory. And really, it's a civil rights violation. Had Clemson dug in, it would be a civil rights violation to force these students and the faculty to answer these questions, and that's really the problem.